Today's guest has traveled to 124 countries, helped generate over a billion YouTube views, and is now building an AI-powered travel video platform that wants to flip the entire travel industry on its head. We are talking emotional intelligence tagging, shoppable video, creator monetization, and what travel discovery will look like in 2026 and beyond. Welcome back to Elite Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Kiran Prakash. This is the show where we sit down with the founders, operators, and innovators who are building what's next in a SaaS, AI, and digital experience. Today, I'm joined by Sally Brunel, founder and CEO of NaviSavi, a tech starter backed AI powered travel video platform that turns authentic user generated travel clips into shoppable, bookable, and licensable content across mobile, web, CTV, and even in flight entertainment. Before NaviSavi, Sally spent 20 plus years and as a senior executive in TV and music industry, pioneering short form video storytelling for major artists and brands. And now she's bringing the same creative energy into the travel tech and the creator economy. Welcome to the show, Sally.
Hello. Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for having me. It's exciting to be here. Goodness. And whoever wrote that bio, I don't know. I owe them a big thank you. It sound me made me sound a little more important than I am. So
It's really great achievement, Sally. Yeah. Okay, for listeners who might be discovering you for the first time, how do you introduce yourself and what are you building next?
yeah, well, I introduced myself as Rally Sally because I'll do whatever it takes to get it done. Yeah, so yeah, Sally Bennell. I'm, CEO and founder of NaviSavi. It's been a long journey, but we're finally starting to really crack, into the travel industry. Although we've been swimming in it for, years and years, about 8 years. But yeah, what we're building is we're exactly as you said. We're here to create a travel orchestration, is what I call it, and that is really right now it is so fragmented between social search, creator economy, your regular booking, travel planning. And what we really see is the wave of the future where that is, your chat GPTs, your LLMs. We see that as voice being activated as the new wave of the future. And video content we already know is leading the charge in how people are marketing. And, combine that with, emotional intelligence and guidance. Travel is no longer just a destination and a price point. It's people are going on journeys based on how they feel and the authenticity that they want to have and the connection. So we're really trying, I won't say the impossible, but we are trying to put it all into a singular platform in which we know how people travel and it's not in these segmented, elements. So that's really, I think, what we're aiming to build and on the roadmap to build. So it's short, but at the heart of it, it's short form videos. It's showing a video and, first person, point of view of, this is what it was like if I was to put myself in these same shoes and have that same experience. And that's really at the core of all of it.
Yeah. No, as we were discussing before, like I think this is what is lacking right now. Like it's always like somebody making this high definition videos to sell, but this one is like the pure traveler's experience, and you can put yourself in that shoes, and that's the best way of looking at the destination.
Exactly. Because, I spent many, many years, in the editing bay, trying with all this raw footage and trying to make a polished piece of a commercial, for a 60-second commercial. And, yes, that was the old days of advertising, but now it's people want the real experience and they want to have a connection with that person that had that experience or feel like they could be there. So I think, as much as brands want to polish themselves and put them in a certain light, not always doesn't have the ultimate purchase power that it does now with user generated content. So
Excellent. And you have got a wild blend of experience, like 20 plus years in TV and music, and over a billion cumulative YouTube views, and now travel tech. Like, what is that which connects all these
Well,
together?
I'm old, Karen. I'm old. That's the main connector. Years of experience, but I've always had this passion for. Well, I guess it's things that make you move and feel, and whether that was music and television and kind of these creative arts, but I also see travel as one of those aspects. And it was kind of really during the rise of YouTube in which we started seeing an opportunity. Kids were watching kids on YouTube. It wasn't this programmatic television, and that's really where I started to flip the switch of, all right, if the kids are watching kids, how do they relate to each other? What is that? And that's where we're getting all these views. It was no longer, as I said, a polished commercial. It was behind the scenes experiences with, kids. And that was really kind of the rise. And that's where I saw travel um, resonating as well as my own friends would see me on a 2 week trip through Thailand or someplace, and they'd say, "How do I go do what you did?" And that was really, I'd send them a packet of my day by day by day, where I went, what I booked, what tour companies I used, everything from top to bottom. And they would then see like short videos of that as well. This is before Instagram stories, this is before TikTok, and it was really that catalyst was what I said, you know what, why is there not a TV show that is a recipe for a vacation instead of just showing me, oh, I'm, today at the world's greatest beaches. Well, that's great. I want to go to the beach, but how do I get there? What's the other elements? And so that was really the birth of NaviSavi was an interactive bookable travel show. And funny enough, this coming year we'll actually be coming out with the first episode. 10 years later is all it took, But yeah, 10 years later, getting it back out there. But yeah, it's, that's what people want to see. They want to be able to interact and have this kind of, travel is no longer this experience that you just watch and then you do everything else on your own. So that's what we're really trying to bring is, a connectivity from every touch point of the traveler. There's the inspiration phase, there's the booking phase, there's that planning phase. There's also, you're still doing those elements while you're on the in the destination. You're still looking for a restaurant nearby, or you're still looking for what activities to do later that day. So those are all elements in which they forget about, and I think there's that connectivity that needs to happen throughout the journey and even once you come home. So it never stops.
No, actually, like everybody, like most of people want to travel, but the only thing which stops them is that unknown aspect, right? Like
Yeah.
what is like a lot of people cannot like even searching on the net and everywhere, you don't really feel like what is to be there and what is the actual experience going eating the street food or anything. Like I think bringing all this together, that's great. Like encourage more people to travel. That's
Yeah, exactly. And we even have, looked and see on our roadmap, down the line of getting into AR travel experiences. That may be, we call them our couch, our armchair travelers is what we call them. But that's people that can't get out or mobility issues or physically or financially. But, if you could put on an AR headset and actually have a live tour guide walking you through Rome, how amazing is that? And you can almost have all those sights and sounds right there with you without even leaving. So I think there's going to be new ways in which people will be traveling as well and almost feeling like you're there literally if you're not even there physically. So it's going to be a new, interesting, wide world.
yeah, actually, like even during pandemic, I spent a lot of time watching all these travel videos, and then after pandemic, I could travel, and I wish I had that. Yeah, we are very,
Like you'd already been there, right?
okay. And you have traveled 124 countries, and when was your light bulb moment which gave rise to this idea?
Well, it all started being a little kid in my backyard. I'm from a town of 700 people in Nebraska, so it's incredibly small. The nearest international airport is a 5 hour drive. I'd never been on an airplane until I was about 19, I think, 19, almost 20. So there was always this sense of sitting in the backyard and looking up at the stars at night and seeing these planes, these trails go by and saying, where are they going? What are they doing? I want to be on that someday. And I kind of got bitten by the bug. My first flight, funny enough, my first flight ever, I I did not feel well and I actually puked on my first flight. And now I've been on thousands and thousands of flights. So I've gotten over that that nervousness, I think. It doesn't seem to phase me anymore, any flights. But yeah, I think that was kind of, it was like every place I go, I can start to explore. And so I really did a lot around the US with the record label job that I had. I was constantly flying to destinations within the US to shoot music videos or, projects. So I was doing a lot of traveling, and then my first real international trip outside of Canada was in Australia. And you couldn't have asked for a further destination from New York City for my first international long haul. So I flew almost 24 hours to go to Australia, but they spoke English, and it was a good starter country, even though the distance was quite far to go to. So I think that was really it. And then I went to Europe after that, and then I started getting this like, well, if I'm going to Europe and I have 2 to 3 weeks, how do I go see as much as possible? Well, then I got on a Kentucky tour that hit 13 countries in 3 weeks, and I was trying to maximize every time I had 2 to 3 weeks, how many places I could go. And I've always lived by the idea of, I want to see everything and I can always go back to that I loved and I want to explore more. So that was kind of, I want to, I'm the girl at the ice cream thing that wants a taste of every gelato before I make my choice. So I still operate that way. I'm kind of not a slow mad by any means, unfortunately, just due to my lifestyle too. But yeah, that's how I operate. And my goal was to get to 125 countries in 2025, but I'll probably be one short here at this year. But I already have several new ones and slated for next year. So I'll definitely hit 126 by 2026.
And how many will be remaining? I want to
My
know total.
goal is to get to the UN considered countries, and that always fluctuates between 193, 195, 197, depending on who you ask.
Okay. And do you remember a precise moment when NaviSavi shifted from a fun idea to I'm going to go all in into this?
Yeah, the first moment I took on money. When my dad and I had been playing around with the idea. I'd had the idea, I sketched it, I tried the TV show. When that didn't work, there was an opportunity in 2018, it was 2017 actually, when I could put down a lump sum of money. My dad and I each put in half. And this was kind of almost a startup studio of like, I knew nothing about a pitch deck. I knew nothing about prototyping. I mean, I knew nothing, nothing. I was a girl with an idea. And so I was like, if I'm going to do this, like, this is the first money I will match. My dad and I matched and said, all right, this is real now. That's real money in the bank. It's not just I could do this or I'm talking about it. And I like to literally put my money where my mouth is. If I say I'm going to do something, I do not give up and I do not like to back down. And that can be a blessing and a curse as a founder. And sometimes it's, they're like, you got to stop at some point. But, there was times I was close to closing down many times. And, I literally remember sitting in my parents' house and they said, Sally, I think it's time to call it quits. And there was just always something in me that was like, we're not quite there yet. We're so close. We're not quite there yet. And yeah, and then before you know it, something came that gave us that next 6 months or the next 6 months and the next 6 months. And, we're right now doing a round ourselves of, fundraising's been incredibly tough. And female founders, not to call us out, but we get 2% of all venture capital. So think about that. And then they just came out with a recent report that it's been the worst fundraising in the travel sector for the last 2 years, more so than the last decade. And out of all that fund and all the funds, only the top 6% of companies got that funding pretty much. So it gives you an idea of it's the money that's going is only going to the top, and it's not easy to be out there and be a startup founder, especially in the travel sector and in any sector, and especially with AI, you're getting a lot of people that are creating things quickly and efficiently. And if you don't have a Swiss Army knife of skill sets or be able to match yourself up with people that do, it's not an easy game. And, not to discourage anyone because you have to just, if it's something you truly believe in, you just have to have that grind and grit to get it done. And that's really what's kept me in this game. I've seen a lot of other players come in and they're no longer part of the ecosystem in travel. And also they may have gotten that $1 million for a pre-seed raise. And they put a lot of money and they went for it and they didn't end up winning on that bet. And what the ability of NaviSavi since 2018, since the first money we'd raised less than $1 million. Just hit 1 million actually with a new investor just deposited a check last week. So I won't complain on that, but we were just at $1 million. So it's pretty insane of what we have built in, 8 years of a company, from that kind of day one. And, it's been a slow burn, but also we didn't build and put all of our eggs in one basket. Sat back and watched the industry shift and shake a lot and just built the bare minimum to keep us in the game and players. So now is that, excuse me, that time to really go out there and go after our big raise. And then that's what we give it our one shot.
No, actually, like, so you mentioned about AI generated videos and stuff, right? Like, I know at some point people will be like frustrated with all these AI generator. They want to look for authentic, original videos. Like you don't know how much frustrated I am right now. Like I don't even want to touch any social media right now because when you scroll, it's all AI generated. Like it is all not real. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really struggle to find. I think that will be the trend. People will be more thirsty for original content, I think. Yeah.
Of course. And what's really interesting is I sit in a lot of investors and on, startup panels and even judges. They say, well, AI is now getting really good at videos. Like, how are you going to compete? And I said, easy. Nobody wants to see a fake beach that they're going to go visit. I want to see the real thing. I'm not going to sell you a fake pen.
Yeah.
This is an AI pen. You're not going to purchase something that isn't what you're physically going to be spending money and time on. And, you're going to see a huge backlash of all of this. Even a lot of this content that is polished and influencer led that was just quick, to music and people who just want to see and have this real authentic experience. And even the activities they do, the activities are not always those, the Colosseum in Rome. It is these authentic experiences, connecting with people. We live in such a digital world now that connectivity to one-on-one people and experiences and how they live and cultural is where people are putting their dollars on when they travel. And so we're seeing a huge rise of that and, trying to give them authenticity at every step in the way, literally.
Yeah, exactly. And how is NaviSavi different from just watching travel TikToks or Instagram Reels? How is it different?
Yeah. So, there's actually a study that was recently produced. I believe Expedia came out with it, or one of them, one of the big ones. Um, what they did is they took video content and they saw that video content is utilized in different formats for different emotions, different age groups, and how you associate with it. So, for inspiration, short form TikTok style videos were great. They got, quick what that is. But what they needed, that might be 3 seconds on average that you're watching that, of quick swipe throughs, destination, maybe it's an experience. But it took 5 to 7 seconds, unedited video, for you to understand, process, and make a purchase from that. So TikTok, and they talk about, oh, you can shop on TikTok. Well, that's great. But, for travel, it's a different price point experience than it is just buying a new lipstick. I don't know about you, Karen, but I'm not buying, my lipstick real quick off of TikTok. But, my travels are not being purchased that way. And you might see a cool hotel, but the travel planning is not happening with TikTok. Like it's still fragmented. So we're seeing that TikTok's great for that inspiration, but not the transaction. And so it's really about taking this content of 5 to 7 seconds that is takes that in-depth purchase power. And so that's where a platform like ours allows that deeper, meaningful exploration to happen and start to build on a trip canvas that inspiration, but also inspired, but you still need to dig. So that's kind of where we see everything coming together because it's almost a mind map, when you think about it, your travels, but also, you may have the hotel and what you want to do when you're at the Taylor Swift concert and this, but you don't know everything on the smaller details. And those details are going to come at later times or previous. So it's not an itinerary the way they usually are stacked of here's what you're doing. It's fluid, and you're going to have inspiration for different pieces and parts of that. And you might have the flights booked, but no hotel yet. Or so that's kind of where we see is, that uh, needing short form and a little bit longer form of not edited, not music based, but seeing what it really is. And then to extend that, they were taking um, longer form. So this is why with NaviSavi we have the interactive bookable travel show coming out, which will be a longer form, which gives you more of an education piece. So if you want to know, about Indonesia at the whole before, you now can almost get this full research and all those elements. So we see tackling every aspect of video content within travel. That is the long form. That is going to be your quick TikToks. And that then takes you to those smaller bite sizes that you can start building the building blocks of your itinerary. So that's where we're really starting to see of, we want to own everything that is video based in travel from start to finish. So
Yeah. No, actually, like that's what when I used to travel, like stay in the hostels, and like that's where when you meet the people, like you sit together and they give you ideas like, okay, I'm traveling to this destination, that destination, and then you take that idea and then you can start booking the other part of your trip. And now being a dad, like having two kids, it's hard to stay in hostel,
a
and I
different
miss
type of
that. I
travel.
think probably through your platform it gives you that kind of uh, experience, like as good as speaking to people there and getting their ideas.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
when we created it, one of the guys that assisted in the creation, he has kids and he says, well, I created, when we made the trip canvas, you can even block out and have the kids what they want to do down here. So it's not interfering with yours, so you can almost pin and create videos and inspiration in pockets, within that. So it's really kind of a cool new way of laying out your how you think visually at least. So travel's never been able to be visual in that sense of the planning process as much as it will be, of interacting and pinning video content versus static images and text. So it's going to be a whole new world out there of travel and we're happy to lead the charge on that in 2026. So
Yeah, good. And it's a very good ambition. And how do you prevent NaviSavi from turning into just more polished or produced influencer content?
well, I think there's a time and place for that. Everything on our platform, I have been very strict. I've had many marketing people come into our company and say, well, you need to, we should be able to get music with this, or people want to see the edits and see all these other elements. And I have stayed tried and true to the exact same format that I had picked originally. And that was you upload a video, 30 seconds or less, and you show the experience. That's what I want to see. I do not want it edited and polished. That's what I said. I spent all this time to make shit look good in a 30-second commercial, It's not that that's what it is, but I'm just, I want to see unedited what I'm getting. I want to pivot and turn around and show me, that beautiful sunset in Santorini, also of how many people are standing trying to get the same photo. That is the real experience. It's not this is what your luxury vacation can look like. Yeah, but you get there and you're disappointed. When the travel planning process, they say that people are actually happier before they even take the trip, because it's excitement. And then, not that you want to let people down, but it's like, no, I'd rather know what I'm getting in for because, when people travel, especially on the American side, they've got the two things you don't have enough of is time or money. And if you're only getting 2 weeks and you have a budget, you don't want to go with unrealistic expectations, I guess is one way to put it. But also, we give you an opportunity to discover some of these unseen hidden gems that you would never know exist. You might be able to get the exact same viewpoint somewhere else within the city or, these kind of secret locations. So that's what we tried to, the underserved and underdiscovered, but also those are great gems themselves. So I was actually just having lunch with a gal and they were talking about Italy and hotels and how Italy's only like the top, 3% of Italy is all that's really visited when people travel. And how do they get, people to the other regions? And so this was something I said, well, NaviSavi. People need to know what else is in Italy, not just your tentpole items. Yeah, you're going to go to the Colosseum, but is there a Italian mother, cooking class and can you stay out in a different region that, might offer some of the same breathtaking landscapes, but, at a different price point in a new region? And so those are the kind of things that we look at, as we go to experience travel. And that's also something younger travelers are looking for. It's not so much just going to Rome and the Colosseum. So it will be, obviously you're gonna those are kind of the once in a lifetime things that you're gonna do, but I think people are starting to spread out and they don't want the big cities as much as they used to. So,
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I'm just trying to envision a real world scenario. Like, say, for instance, I'm dreaming of going from Lisbon, dreaming of going to Lisbon or Tokyo. How would I actually use NaviSavi for inspiration and booking my travel?
yeah, so with the current version that we have right now, you can go onto our platform on the app, and what you do is you can type in the destination. You can filter down by eat, sleep, play, explore. You can start filtering that and build that as a video itinerary. We call them playlists. Or we have pre-created playlists by maybe if you're going to Lisbon, it's do Lisbon like a local. And maybe here's their 20 favorite things to do or places they take people. So we have a bit of both sides. We have curation that happens on the platform, but we also give you that luxury of you could take that curated list and then add your own stuff to it. So it's kind of can work in multiple different ways. So you're not just left completely on your own, but we've got, a mixed bag of stuff. So you can discover as wish, but you can also discover within your price point. You can set the dollar signs, the distance around you, any of that, and see what we have in video content.
Yeah, I think that is way better than ChatGPT. Like,
Yeah, so in our new version, what's really going to be great that we'll be releasing late this summer is it's voice activated. So you will talk to NaviSavi, tell them you want this, like you would talk, you can talk to ChatGPT, but that's now going to bring back video content with a bookable link directly in that, or you can pin that to save for later if you're not ready to book. So all of that will happen at your fingertips. And we're also testing the new WhatsApp integration where you will be able to have NaviSavi as a WhatsApp contact, as your NaviSavi concierge, and you'll
Mhm.
be able to basically talk to NaviSavi like you do talk to text or whatever on WhatsApp, and it can transact. It can book you a movie ticket, your reservation for dinner, and it can transact everything within your WhatsApp is what we're coming out with.
Oh,
So you will not even have to go out to a booking.com or any of those to finish a transaction. We're working on having a single checkout with all within NaviSavi.
I'm really excited because like this is the exact
Really?
kind
I
of
mean, we could
tool I would
bill
look
on travel.
for. Wow.
But yeah, that's what we're working for is,
Mhm.
nobody wants to be led off to a million different apps. And we even have connectivity with Uber in which we'll be able to say, call me an Uber to my restaurant. And all of that will happen and transact without ever opening one of their apps.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
And
the future of travel right there. And video content of that restaurant, if we have it, can be pulled back and you can show me a video of that restaurant and it will surface with that. Show
wow,
me the vibe of the restaurant in a video. And that's coming through your WhatsApp. Like
Mhm.
it's pretty crazy.
That's good.
And that will be our platform as well. So
Nice.
that's the future of travel. It's going to be a concierge. It's somebody that's with you every step of the way.
That's really
And
amazing.
all of that would be done through biometrics as well. So think about that. And you're not just going to, the same way that you have to give a code or your thumb or your face in order to make a purchase that you do on other sites, all of that would be done through biometrics as well. So
Mhm.
it really takes away the fraud risk.
It's cool. And
Yeah.
so this is the journey with the end users interacting with NaviSavi. And on the B2B side, how are travel brands, tourism brands, or airlines using your content and platform today?
Yeah, so currently today, they are utilizing everyday people's video content. So our users are uploading videos of places they recommend. And now we've created that as a content library. So we pay per video uploaded, and then brands can come in and then hand pick the videos that they want to use in their social media campaign, on their website, maybe on an interactive seat back map, you don't know, anything. And they can hand pick that, and then our creators, everyday people, actually make commission working with major travel brands. So you could just be anybody taking a video of Big Ben in London on the street that visited once, and a major travel brand like TUI comes in and says, "I need this video." You're now working with TUI, a major travel brand, which is pretty amazing, you know. And so we provide a collection of content from around the world. So we have a library that's in stock, and then we have a secondary in which we have bespoke services. So we have 5,000 people plus running around the world at any given time. So if a brand says, "I need content from Slovenia, this certain, the Love Bridge." Well, if we don't have it, we've got somebody nearby, or we ask our audience and say, "Anybody have this content?" And they upload it to us. So we can work and bespoke content as well. We have content creators that we send out to go shoot and edit and put together hotels, you know, or city guides, or, you know, we can kind of work on every breadth of it. But the newest product that we're going to be launching is our program called Moats. And what that is, it's a media orchestration and tagging system. So what that is we now allow any brand, say that you're a hotel, we now allow any brand to spin out their own unique QR code. And with that QR code, now their guests can upload videos of the hotel. So now, instead of bringing in one content creator, they can be getting, you know, 100 videos a month of their property that are user guest content showcasing their brand in the best way. So they can pick, you know, 25 videos each month, and that's on a flat rate of very, very affordable. And you come in and you get fresh videos from your guests, and it's rights cleared, it's ready to go. You incentivize your guests for uploading, whether that's a discount on their next stay, whether that's a free, you know, soft drink at the bar, you name it. So those are the kind of things that we're now putting the power. You're the best seller of travel is the traveler, because they are your number one person. And if I can put my feet where you stood and see that exact same experience, it's not all doctored up, it's not these, you know, photos that are photoshopped and edited swift together. It's really there. That is what we're seeing is what is, you know, converting, and really seeing the increase in, you know, I think they just did a study. There was a 30% increase on people that watched a user-generated video before making a purchase, and that was for hotels. So we know that, you know, if you can increase your revenue by 30% just by activating your guest videos, and now they come to you, rights cleared, ready to use for social, for marketing, everything. So it's going to be pretty amazing. And then we can apply that to hotel, restaurants, to tours, activities, direct marketing organizations, tourism boards. Anybody can be acquiring their visitors' content in order to showcase what their destination or their business. So that's going to be kind of the big launch that we have coming out in 2026. So
Wow. All the best to
yeah,
you. It's
we want
really well thought.
everyone needs to have their own content creators. And those people are already shooting video content in their hotels of their experiences, but they're letting that content go, or it's getting sent to them in a WhatsApp. And then there's no rights clearance from that. And we're basically creating you your own content digital asset management system. And then with the great part of this is where it goes a bit deeper, but those videos that can sit in your content dam But if you give NaviSavi the access to get a copy of those videos, we don't need all of them, just five or whatever that is, then we can go in and we put that through our patent pending technology system. Or we go through and we scan every video and we can scan it for objects, for, elements, but we also have, we scan it now by emotion. So now we can scan a video of how it makes you feel. And then we make that content so it is voice query ready. So it is ready and readable and structured data for the LLMs. So an LLM is no longer going to need to come in and can scrape a video out of your website. But now I have five hotel videos with direct booking links that can be pulled into ChatGPT when they start accepting video content. So I now have given your hotel a completely new distribution channel, which you would have to build your own agent or an MCP or something to get that into place and ready. But now I'm creating you a go direct with a direct booking link to your hotel on video content that can be searched and redistributed. So that is the next wave. And that's why people are coming to us not just to license a video, but we get your video content ready for the agentic world.
And that's exactly what you were mentioning about emotional intelligence tagging, is it?
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly. And so we now can start serving videos up to our guests based on how they want to feel on this trip. Do they want a relaxing holiday? Do they want adventure? What are they? Is it warm? What I can tell you what even the temperature was when you were sitting by the pool at that hotel. Like I can get that minute of like the humidity point, like it's that crazy, but I can get that kind of first person data, but that also can help me make sales down the line. So we kind of see this as the new way of utilizing user generated content and the new way of marketing. So
okay. And you mentioned NaviSavi is an agent-to-agent ready and working with platforms like that AI era. What does that future looks like when AI agents are talking to other AI agents on behalf of travelers?
yeah, well, I think there's a big court case going for it right now between Amazon and Perplexity of like what are they going to be able to scrape and act on behalf of travelers to find that kind of information, or are they going to have to be gatekept a little bit? So, I mean, that will determine a lot of what's happening in travel as it comes. What we've set ourselves up as is we want to be basically the media hub, agentic media hub for travel. That's what we see ourselves as. And then once we're in travel, we can take on any vertical. That could be sports, that can be entertainment, that could be anything that is, it could be Nike shoes. They could have their customers uploading video content of them running and utilizing their shoes and unboxing videos. And that could also be creator campaigns that they do. All of that content can live within our agent of, direct bookable, shoppable links on videos. So it is a whole new world of where we see we're really that commerce layer of video and voice for the next wave of AI. It's kind of scary. I feel like I'm taking
Yeah.
on the world some days. I'm like, let's just, get this moving in travel first. But
Yeah.
it's all going to hit and it's going to hit really quickly. And I think a lot of people we we see only the surface of what's actually going on. I see in our development, staging and development, some of the capabilities of the things that we're doing that the public doesn't even know about yet. And these are the things that you're going to get drip fed a little bit here and there. But when we come out and just launch it, it's going to twist travel upside down.
Yeah. So, like if we fast forward to say 2026, what does the idea NaviSavi plus AI experience look like for a traveler from the moment they feel I need a break to actually landing in a destination?
We are your AI concierge. We are there every step of the way, whether you're inspired, whether you need assistance, whether you're hungry, whether you want to reshare those memories back with others. We are your one-stop shop for travel.
Excellent. No, that's exactly like when you mentioned about it. Like what I see is every problem like a traveler faces from the initial till the planning and uncertainties, fear, and everything you have taken care in that platform. Like this comes with your experience of traveling 124 countries, and that's the real experience which you have put together. That's
Yeah.
NaviSavi is an experience, like your experience. We get to
Or the
experience
travel
your experience.
experience. Yes, that's what I said. It's no longer siloed. It's not trip inspiration happens on social. Trip planning is through AI and chat, and then this, and then you experience it. No, you need somebody that is with you at every step of the way. And, inspiration comes from anywhere, decisions, new destinations. You want to leave a bit of chance and luck when you travel because you don't know what you're going to be missing. You don't know what's in the destination. And, it's kind of nice to be able to have the flexibility of a travel companion with you that can make you have the best trip of your life, not what was always scheduled. Sometimes the unexpected is the best part. So.
And you have built NaviSavi in a way that empowers creators to monetize their travel clips. How does that work today?
Yeah, so anybody can upload videos. So we have a lot of great large content creators with millions of followers who upload a lot of their B-roll. So when they're creating destination clips, they might shoot an hour's worth of footage, yet they're only using 30 videos. So
Mhm.
we give them an opportunity to monetize their B-roll, uploading videos of, all this content that they're sitting on and give them new opportunities. We also then give them the opportunity to work in part of the probably won't be released till in 2026, but that is, creators matching with brands, having a whole organization of how, creating a whole creator commerce element of that and, affiliate linking within those videos that they're promoting and pushing. And, I think what I'd love to see, which is, not really on, I've got so much stuff coming out in 2026. My tech teams will not, hopefully they won't shoot me for saying this, but we'd love to get into making our own creators their own agents of their own and tracking their video content almost like you do a scan at the grocery store, of like where their videos are viewed, they can monetize. And I think that's where right now it's only happening on socials or a YouTube is your views and the ads placement. But, anytime that video is being watched and it inspired somebody, there's a big disconnect. And so if we can keep that and start working that within our ecosystem of videos that you uploaded that they saved, a revenue share on that, even on the inspiration, I think would be pretty awesome. So I'm definitely here. It's the people that make it, and it doesn't always need to be the biggest influencer in the world because sometimes we were seeing, not sometimes we've been seeing huge success with micro influencers. People have 5,000 followers
Mhm.
and but they have a better conversion rate, so those are kind of things that it's like, who your best friends are still the ones that you look on their social feed and say, oh, I saw you were just in Georgia. What did you
Mhm.
do there? That's interesting. I never would have thought about that. Well, now you piqued your interest. Those are still those that are around you and those that are going to these destinations are initiating that inspiration. So it could be anybody.
Cool.
You don't need a following to inspire, is what I should say.
So it's great product, great idea. And what are you looking ahead in 2026? What does success look like for NaviSavi in terms of scale, whether that's the users, market, or revenue mix? What is it?
Yeah. It's a combination. We had some traction in revenue on our content licensing in the last year plus since we launched basically the pilot of that product. Our goal is to really double down on our B2B this coming year. That is really getting businesses the tools to acquire their guest content at scale and redistribute that. And that's probably our biggest B2B focus. B2C will come due to a lot of our B2B partnerships. So we will release the B2C full agentic version of NaviSavi. But our goal is we've had a lot of piecemeal elements, and our goal is to unify all of that to a single platform. So that's going to take some groundwork. So It's revenue, but we also were looking at we're putting together right now a $5 million raise. So having to hit the success of, raising 5 million and, making over 1 million would be a good success point. I don't think there's a very small percentage of females that actually raise over 1 million and make 1 million of female CEOs. So that would definitely be on my, I've raised 1 million now to date, but it would definitely be on my big bucket list for next year is if I could get 5 million investment and 5 million in revenue, I would definitely throw myself a big party within next year.
No, I think so. What I see is like a lot of ideas which are really useful for everybody, and to make it real, it needs a lot of effort and also money. Like I think like 2026 will be exciting for you and for us as a consumers of this product as well. Yeah.
Well, you probably won't see much of me in the start of 2026. My goal is basically once the funding hits and everything, we are going underground. I've been a lot out on the scene and
Mhm.
giving keynotes and talking about what we're doing, but if you don't go down and do the hard work it takes to deliver, then it's not worth it. So
Okay.
that's really what the whole team knows is our heads are down and enjoy your last few weeks of holiday here because come January, it's grind out for 6 months and product launch, product launch, product launch. Like we're releasing almost something every 3 months, which most companies release one new product every year or two, maybe, or a feature, not a product. So we have a TV show coming out, a B2C platform. We have our B2B moats. We've got, um, yeah, we've got a lot going on. So it's just keep focused and keep our head down and hopefully talking at this time of year next year will be a totally different 1 year wrap up story. So
That's excellent. No, actually, Sally, this is, I think this is just part one of the podcast because there's so many questions I want to ask you, but the time is limited and we are coming close to the end of this session. But definitely, if you're okay, we should have a part two of this
oh yeah, I'm
sometime
always
later.
around.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, thanks for sharing this amazing platform and wish you all the success. Like I'm looking forward for to start using this and making the travel. It's the future of travel, definitely. Like no chat GPT or any other large language models can provide this kind of information and authenticity and the emotional tagging what you mentioned it, I don't think any any models can match right now and all the best with your journey. Thanks.
I
Thanks again
haven't
for
gotten
joining.
here by luck. I've gotten here from hard work, and that's the most important is never giving up and keep sticking to what you believe in that you think you can and know that you can make a change. So
Yeah.
that's my parting words.
Yeah. No, actually, Sally, like what I've seen is when people think big ideas, it they go into kind of like stage where like, oh, this is too complicated to implement, and they stop. But this
Yeah.
is a big idea which you have worked on and made it happen. That is like a big achievement in itself.
I remember telling my dad this, the first spark of this idea in 2018, and he said, this could be global. I said, yeah. He's like, it's not just like a guide to do in New York City. You can start there. I said, no, it's the world. It's the entire world of travel, in this format. And he's just like, this could be big, kid. I'm like, I know. It's not going to happen overnight. 8 years later, he probably would like to see the success during his lifetime. So I'll try and get to it as quick as possible.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time, Sally.
Yes. Yeah, it was so great
Really
being
great
on
time.
this. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and we'll definitely do it again soon.
Sure.